Welcome class of 2021 to the pathway verification process. Today you'll be filling out the pathway check form and turning it into your ramp time teacher. If you need a little bit more time, that's okay. Just make sure you turn it in as soon as possible. The deadline is before spring break. You'll be visiting the Zoom link if you need any help or assistance from me. My name is Mrs. Torrey, one of the Academy coordinators here in the building. Once your pathway check form is turned in, you will be verified with your transcript by a member of the Academy leadership team, and you will be notified which pathway or pathways you have earned in April. And then in May, when you graduate, you get to wear your Academy cords with pride, and hopefully you get to be having that graduation at Red Rocks after all. So the form looks something like this. Okay, so it's a little bit scary when you first open it up. So let's just dive into it and see what it all entails. So this far hand left side is where it gives you instructions on how to fill this form out. So I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. We highly recommend having you pull up your unofficial transcript from Jeffco Infinite Campus. So you can log into Campus, you go to your documents, select the GMHS unofficial transcript, and then that way you can remember all the classes you've taken from your 9th grade year. Now, just a reminder, semester-long classes are 0.5 credits and year-long classes are full credit. And what we have done due to the pandemic is we have changed the pathways to be worth 3 credits. So that way, if you didn't get into all the courses that you wanted, and things of that nature, you're more likely to be able to complete those pathways. So as you're filling these pathways out, make sure you have completed 3 credits for the pathway. Now, if you're completing a Warren Tech program, okay, you will get a pathway in Human Services. Or if you did a Warren Tech program that fits a different pathway better than Human Services, that's the pathway we would reward you with. Now, all the pathways have this. For the any blank class options, here is the breakdown. Okay, so if you look here on the right-hand side, you will see this option, and that's underneath every single pathway. What this means is if you look inside pathways, sometimes you see any computer science, any video production, things of that nature. Instead of writing every single class and making those lists super long, we have generalized it a little bit. So any publication class would include yearbook, newspaper, and journalism. Any business and marketing class would include intro to business, business marketing, sports and entertainment marketing, all that kind of stuff. Any video production class would be any class listed in that section. Any STEM elective class would be any class within computer science and or the engineering and robotics section of the catalog, and any theater class will come from that section. So if you have trouble here, I would click on the course catalog to know where those things are classified. So the course catalog looks something like this. So here's your business marketing section. You see personal finance, business law, business leadership, all these different classes that are within business. If we go further down, you can see all the different ones within computer science. And then it keeps going. Here's engineering and robotics. So if you're not sure about those generalized parts, you can look at the course catalog, and you could always ask me directly within the Zoom meeting. Okay, so the best way to figure out how to fill one of these out is just to start by looking at each pathway. There may be pathways that you've completed and you just didn't realize. Okay, so I would look through each pathway and see which classes are involved for each and see what you might have completed. So the yellow ones are ones that I am declaring as having completed. So I'm going to go through a few examples here. What we find is a lot of people have completed the humanities pathway. And so please look at this one if you haven't before. Your foundations, you need 1 credit in these classes. So public speaking is a 0.5 credit and philosophy is a 0.5. That would add up to 1 credit. This particular student took a world language level 3, and they took that for a year, so that's where they earned their 1 credit. Now, for their 2 credits, they're using foundation classes that are listed up above, but they're going to use it within the supporting section. So you can only use a class within a pathway one time. You can use it for multiple pathways, but down this column only once. So for this student, they took AP US History, so that's here on the bottom at 1.0 credit, and Yearbook for 1.0 credits. That adds up for a supporting of 2.0 credits on the bottom, but they also took EPC for credit and it's on their transcript, and they wanted to make sure to get credit for that as well. If you write more than 3 credits within your pathway declaration, that is okay. It is possible to earn a pathway with honors by taking additional credits, and also in case that a class does not count for some reason, then having those extra classes listed, if you have them, can help make sure you get that pathway. So this particular student also completed the PA pathway. So notice we're highlighting in yellow things that we declare. So classes that we've taken, we're highlighting in yellow, and we're also adding the credits next to it to verify that it is 3 credits. So this student was in the orchestra. So they took orchestra for 1 year, earning a credit for the foundation. Now under supporting, they are also using orchestra for 1.0 credit. And notice this for the PA pathway. You may not use 3 years of a single ensemble to complete this pathway. So this person is using 2 years for orchestra, and they did take public speaking for 0.5, and they're short 0.5 credits. So they actually filled out the exception form, which I'll show you what that looks like when we get to the form. The other pathway a lot of people tend to complete is the CIM pathway, and so that's one you may want to check out as well. Okay, so now if we look at the next page, this student also completed the GSI pathway. They took World Language Level 2, that gave them a foundation credit of 1, and then they took any AP Social Studies, World Language Level 3, and here's that EPC class as well. Notice the overlap from that previous pathway. So here, listing below, we're highlighting the AP US History 1.0 class, Yearbook for 1.0, and they took Stagecraft for 0.5, and so they are way over on this GSI pathway. Now over here, this person has also completed the Human Services pathway, and the way they did it is they completed it through Warren Tech. So this person also completed the culinary program, and so we're just listing it there as a reminder they completed that pathway. And then the last pathway this random made-up student completed was the ET pathway. So this is the engineering technology pathway. And so notice foundations, it's any computer science, any engineering or robotics class. So they took a variety, and so those are listed below. So here's their intro to computer science at 0.5, robotics at 0.5, and AP computer science principles at 1.0 credits. So that gave them the 2.0 credits of foundations, and then they used a class in the supporting that wasn't listed, and that is physics for 1.0 credit is under supporting. Okay, so that adds up to 3 credits. So once you fill out the part about the classes, this is a super important page. You're going to highlight which pathways you have completed. Okay, so this student completed HP Humanities. They also completed the Performing Arts pathway. They completed the GSI pathway. They completed the Human Services pathway and the Engineering Technology pathway. Now, the likelihood this person completed all of those things is not super high. We're just happy if you complete one pathway. If you are not completing any pathways and you just can't seem to find a way to have completed one pathway, you will highlight this line, I am not completing any pathways. You must turn in this form or you will be reminded over and over by the Academy leadership team and your counselor to turn this in. Okay, so for each pathway highlighted above, you have to have highlighted those classes that I showed you. Okay. And then to earn a pathway endorsement with honors, you have to earn a cumulative GPA of 3.5 or 2 additional credits within a pathway. But you also have to complete a capstone project. Now, if you have not completed a capstone project, you're going to skip to question 5. So to earn the Renaissance Scholar endorsement or pathway endorsement with honors, you must have completed a capstone project. Okay. So if you complete a Warren Tech program, this is where you would also put that. And so you would say if you completed that program and the name of it. If you didn't complete a Warren Tech program, you just skip that question. If you're completing a STEM endorsed diploma, just write yes or no. If you don't know what we're talking about, you're not completing it. If you're completing the CL by literacy, again, you probably would have heard about that in your upper level world language classes. If you have not heard of it, you're probably not completing it. Now, the exception form is what I'm going to show you next, and then you're going to be on your way to try this. Before I get to that exception form, you can see there is a link right here embedded within the form that will get you to the Zoom meeting where you can talk to me directly and have any questions answered that you may have. You're also welcome to email me. That is just as easy for me as well. So the exception form is only if you have an exception for one of the pathways. And so what you're going to do is write the name of the pathway and then the name of the class that is to be substituted. So if you recall the PA pathway, I was short 0.5 credits, and so I'm substituting the Intro to Theater class as the one that I want to use for the exception. And the exception is because there's experience with the learning equivalent. And so I just highlighted in yellow instead of circling. And then write a paragraph explaining why. And so this person has been part of the chorus for the play and musical every year. They've not been able to fit the theater class into their schedule. So that's their why for the reason. And then this person had discussed with me during our virtual Zoom meeting, and I told them that this was a good idea to fill out the form and that we could probably count that 0.5 credit for the PA pathway. So good luck filling this form out. If you need any help, I am here for you. Your Ramtime teacher can help you as well. Your peers might be able to help you too. So let me know if you need any help, but you got this, and good luck filling it out.